Westworld, a world stationed somewhere in the West.
Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bill. How you doing?
Doing fantastic today. That's right. I'm doing fantastic. There's nobody in particular, y'all. I'm just doing impersonation. No one in particular.
No one in particular. It feels very Jeffrey Wrighty. But if you're not claiming anybody,
right.
You're not claiming
anybody. Get into my Jeffrey Wright. I can do that really easily. Now, it appears that you have to add a little bit of Brooklyn when you talk about Jeffrey Wright. You have to add Brooklyn into your voice right here.
Yeah. Which part of Brooklyn? Because are we talking about Jeffrey Wright from Shaft as Peoples?
I think that's the Bronx.
Okay, it's probably the Bronx. I haven't seen that movie in ages.
There's too many Puerto Ricans in that movie for it to be Brooklyn. It's got to be the Bronx.
Yeah, it could be the Bronx. Yeah.
My New York people. Shout out to my New York people.
Shout out to our New York people, our Southwest. I said Southwest, Southwest, East, North folk. Today we are talking about the Westworld, season 4, episode 3.
Western World.
We opened this episode with Bernard, Jeffrey Wright, inside the Sublime, where he and a pale horse are wandering through a series of hellish scenarios before they come upon a white building with the tower on top, much like the one from the drawings that Christine noticed that the homeless guy was drawing, and she found him in the psychiatric ward in the last episode. So there's some connection there. What did you think of all this Sublime shit? Was it sublime enough for you?
The Sublime was entirely sublime.
that was very Jeffrey Wright. Bernard tells him that there's a world the world outside is in trouble, and that he needs their help. That the world needs his help. And Akacheta from season 2.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay, now I can give my opinion. Okay,
sorry, not what you were going to say.
So, Jeffrey Wright's character, Bernard.
Toulouse.
Bernard. Toulouse. Yeah, no. So Bernard follows
Akacheta.
Akacheta's horse. He follows Akacheta's horse. That white horse is Akacheta's horse,
right? Not
just a white horse. So he follows him and meets up with Akacheta. Akacheta.
Oh, Akacheta.
Okay, so anyway, so then Akacheta informs him about how these, the hosts who decided to leave and go on and do their own thing and be separate from people have decided to start their own worlds and their own liking, that they've built on their own. And they've also at the same time built this algorithm of possibilities, much like the Holcomb from last season 3.
Right.
Holcomb. I don't know. Anyway, I don't be having
exactly.
Subtitles on. I should probably have subtitles on. But anyway, so then they come up with this algorithm and they've determined that the world will end once it reaches a certain cross point in time. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. It's gonna happen. Don't be worried about them people. And he's like, Bernard's like, no, there's got to be something that I can do. And so then they go into it, and he starts looking into the future, as it will, as only hosts can, a very vague and ominous look into staring into space, and then come back 25 seconds later with all the information. And share none of it.
Only hosts and Doctor Strange can do that.
Right. Share none of it, mind you. Share.
Right.
Maeve, she be seeing all kinds of shit. She don't tell you nothing that she sees. She don't tell you why she sees it. Nothing. It's insane how selfish they are with they.
Yeah. Always keeping secrets.
Always keeping secrets. So yeah, and then we realized that, Bernard is living like, well, everybody in the what is it called?
The Sublime?
The Sublime. That's right. Everybody in the Sublime is living like eons when in 1 year of passing in real life. So
right.
Bernard decides he got to go back but he finds out that in every scenario in which he tries to save the world, he will die. So Bernard decides to go back and save the world, in spite of the fact that he'll die. So that's where we start with old baby Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, we get reintroduction of baby Hemsworth. It's funny that you even bring that up with his sacrifice, because it's an interesting kind of sacrifice where he knows he's going to die if he makes this decision. So it's not like, diving on a sword or anything like that, or anything as dramatic as that. It's kind of a long game. We're not going to see exactly how he ends up sacrificing himself. But we do know that's
right.
Right.
Does he just die, or can he prevent his death along with saving the world?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
He's seen all the possibilities, right? Maybe he can change it.
Right. But we know for sure that he's willing to die to save the world. Which is, I think, is very strong.
Anybody who plays video games, you can play a video game 100 billion times. Know everything about that game, and something's going to change, be a little off. So yeah, you're going to do something a little different.
Right.
So
you can do that one time where you do a single run. Just play it all the way through once without dying.
One time you ain't hit the AA button, and then you fall short of that little brick and you die.
So yeah, then Jeffrey Wright is reconnected with baby Hemsworth, and yeah, we find out why he's all dusty, because baby Hemsworth was not trying to clean him up. He's like, hey, he said,
yeah, he's like, you told me not to touch. You said don't disturb me.
And then they go to the Rhodes Inn Diner, where I keep calling Jeffrey Wright, where Bernard keeps doing predicting little things about the future. He's basically trying to feel out. He's like, okay, this is the right universe, right? Because everything seems to be lining up. Basically reading the world.
A snow globe as soon as he wakes up, and he's like, good, we've already knocked out 50% of the possibilities. If a nigga woke up however many years he's been sleeping, if a nigga woke up just saying all kinds of weird shit like that, I'd be weirded out too. I was kind of feeling like Hemsworth was acting kind of dumb, but it's like, you know what? It is kind of weird for a nigga to just wake up saying weird shit. I give you a pass.
That's very strange behavior.
Very strange behavior.
And he further uses these tools of perception, or I guess premonitions. Is that a word? I just made it up. He goes out into the parking lot and beats the shit out of two dudes and decapitates
who
them.
ends up not being dudes at all, man.
End up not being dudes. They end up being hosts. This is terrible diner. I don't know what's going on with this, big open windows. Nobody can see two people get murdered and decapitated in the parking lot.
Well, you can say it's a bad diner, or is it the best diner ever?
Who's to say? I guess it depends.
Soldier Boy would say it's a great diner.
I guess everybody.
I like that diner. That's a diner I'd eat at any fucking day. It sounds like an American diner. American's diner.
Get yourself a nice meal, and then you fight to the death on the way to your car.
That's right. And
That's
after
America.
that, go beat my meat in the cup.
Oh man, we're gonna be getting some residual Soldier Boy for a little while, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah, definitely getting beat my meat in the cup for the rest of my life.
Yeah, if you haven't watched The Boys, or even if you have, that might be weird. But go watch The Boys, and then go watch our old episodes talking about it.
Look, we can't afford the drops and shit like that yet. So look, we don't have the little button, push a button in here, the little drops and shit like that yet. So,
yeah. With
right
the beat the meat in the cup button.
that I remember, and I just said it randomly. Beat my meat in the
cup. But yeah, after Bernard kills these people, a militarized SUV drives up on him, driven by a mysterious woman who you had mentioned. Who did you say that she was? Her name's Aurora Perrineau, but who is the actress? Drop some knowledge.
Aurora Perrineau is, what's his name? Perrineau's daughter he's Link from The Matrix.
Right. Yes.
And he's Augustus from
Oz. Yeah.
And I am recording from my phone, so I cannot look up and tell you who he is.
No, but yeah, he's a great actor, and she was really good in this episode.
Yeah, I just named the two biggest things that he was in. Of course, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's also in Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was damn, I can't remember the character's name, but yeah, he was in Romeo. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, bitches.
Yeah, check out our Shakespeare podcast, Sundays, right. Shakespeare Sundays.
Not to be confused with the Black Shakespeare podcast.
Yeah,
shout out to Black Shakespeare.
Shout out to Black Shakespeare. It's a totally different thing.
Yo, also shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for subscribing, all you new people. I just want to say this really quickly because we appreciate y'all and we do it for y'all because we feel like you guys want to hear what we're saying and nobody's saying it. So we saying it loud and proud for y'all. Thank you for subscribing. Smash that like button like Bernard smashed some brains into those hosts.
Indeed. Then
we meet
nice segue.
Young lady, fine as hell, and she also, I think that she could. I saw a theory out there. That she could be Caleb's daughter.
Oh, so this is like okay. That would be interesting. That would be interesting because I did think that he had been maybe like they're a little bit further in the future. I think you mentioned that as well, that they're further in the future and they're doing this toying with timelines thing again.
I mentioned that in the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I also think that only reason I like that theory, like that's not my theory that's his daughter. It just matches my theory that we're in 3 different timelines. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Right.
The theory is right.
Right. But she might just be another brown skinned girl with frizzy hair. Who knows? We'll see.
Mysterio was right.
Mysterio was right. Hashtag Mysterio was right. But yeah, he convinces her with his creepiness to take him to her leader. Basically, she's a member of this cause, and they apparently hang out in the condemned lands. So he convinces her to take. Yeah, it sounds great. Nice little summer vacation spot. Plenty of space. Laser valleys. You gotta check out the laser valleys. Those are nice and dangerous.
Yeah, what is that? Did you like that? Did you like that technology?
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It was a nice like old meets new technology. It's like lasers, but you also have to like turn a crank to bring up some mirrors to drive through. It's like, okay, I like this. This is cool.
I like it a lot. Practical. Practical.
And yeah, he tells the leader of their group, which is apparently an actor from the show Into the Badlands. I haven't really watched that show, but apparently he's really good on it. But
isn't this what they are? Isn't that where the home is?
They are in the Badlands.
So he's in a show called Into the Badlands and plays a character on Westworld who's in the Badlands.
Well, no, this is the Condemned Lands. Totally different thing.
Oh, you know what?
Totally different thing.
It's like these writers be cheating off each other's papers or something, bro.
Hey, what does the person says? Like, good. The greatest form of flattery is imitation.
Yeah, his name is George Lucas.
But yeah, he convinces, like Bernard says, I can help you find whatever weapon that they've been searching for out in the condemned lands. So he's like, all right, let's have ourselves a team up. But then we cut back over to the Golden Age in 1920 Chicago, where Caleb and Maeve, also known as Maleb, are walking through the series of.
I like that. Maybe they'll make a baby.
Yeah, I have heard that there's like been like, you know, that the people have been shipping them a lot. That there's apparently I can get that there's been a little bit of romantic tension. Like in the elevator scene, there was a little bit of, you know, they were giving each other some eyes.
And there's romantic tension every time a sexy, fine ass woman like herself is in an elevator with any man or woman. Because she's goddamn gorgeous. Shout out to you, Sandy. And shout out to her being such a little young lady with such a nice round buttocks. I mean, Lord have mercy. These dresses are working hard out there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, then we get Maleb.
Seriously. I have to say this.
Okay.
I just got to say this. And like, she is in better shape than anyone on this entire show. And I'm just saying that's a real serious compliment, because it takes a lot for you to get into shape, period, as a regular human being.
Yeah.
And she's doing it because of how active her character has to be.
Right.
She is making sure she's not going out here and just looking like some sloppy old lady trying to do some moves. You know, her and Ed Harris are probably the best shaped people, and they're probably the oldest people on set.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny because, or I don't know if like funny is the word, but like, yeah, like, she looks like she's in like goddamn.
It is funny.
She's like in like Linda Carter's shape. And I was actually thinking about this the other episodes. Like, I don't think that Aaron Paul has done a push-up in his entire life. Because like to be a military guy, he does not look like he is in any kind of like soldier shape. Which is a little weird.
So yeah, I'm seriously. Yeah. So like I said, so they just wanted to give a shout out, as we do to the little things on this podcast. We give a shout out to the little things, you know, like makeup people, trainers, actors, really doing the little things.
Craft servicemen, all y'all.
We really do be shouting out craft services sometimes.
That is true.
Nobody's craft service.
Yeah, it could be dog shit. I don't know.
It could be real bad.
Yeah, then they Maleb, they sneak into the underground, what they think is the underground, which turns out to be some sort of reenactment of the Westworld massacre, which I thought was pretty cool. It was a nice like little way to switch the vulnerabilities up a little bit, because now Maeve can get more hurt than Caleb can in this little environment, and now he's got to kind of be more protective of her. It's kind of cool.
I did think that it was like excuse me, when Maeve realized, like right before she said it was fake, like when she said it was nothing on that floor connecting to anything, I was like, maybe it's a part of the park still. But I had no idea they were trying to still do like the massacre or whatever. Like,
right.
That was insane, dude. And then like I totally felt like a trap coming, you know, type thing, which we ended up getting. You know, they end up getting out of the Wyatt reenactment and getting to the actual door that leads to the downstairs basement.
Yeah. The real show is behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain. You find the Dr. Oz. Behind the Wizard of Oz behind the goddamn curtain, making human beings shoot themselves in the face.
Yeah. Via these weird goo-filled robot maggots. flies.
Yep. Which shout out to us. We already predicted it. That's first day predictions.
It's true.
Those first day predictions. That's what you come here for, baby.
Do you think that they're like nanobots? Do you think they're like nanobots inside the flies? Do you think that that's like the old trick? We're going to nanobots, or is it something like crazier?
I think it's like nanobots, like nanobites. I don't know. Sorry. I'm just like, which one is it? I don't know. It's like Anastasia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know which one it is. I shouldn't think that. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that again. Fuck. Anyway.
Yeah, we see that the white faceless.
It's definitely some kind of technology, some nanobite technology that's connected to the frequency that's coming from the tower-like object in the control hub that Maeve was able to hear the sound, but Caleb was not able to hear the sound. Does it make you think that maybe if Christina Dolores can't hear anything, maybe she's Arilla Dolores?
Maybe.
It's a real Dolores.
Maybe. Like it does like feel with all of the things that they're doing with like, her waking up in bed, very similar to the way she did in the first season. It does make it seem like they're trying to draw a lot of parallels between her and original Dolores.
Right, but she got cut and she's still cut. They used to like fix your cuts if you got cut in a park. And I'm thinking, man, is she in the world where people have already been changed so far ahead of where Hail Dolores, or as they're saying on the internet, Haloris. We should just go with that. That's what everybody's saying.
Sure.
So Haloris.
You've done better, internet.
But we'll say Haloris has completed her goal and started making like an evolved version of humans. And this Christina Dolores is a version of that creation.
Right.
And somehow she's writing people's stories because they're being told what to do because they got the programming in them, because the sound that's being emitted is programming them. But somehow this Christina Dolores is immune to the sound, as opposed to where everybody else can still hear it and is forced to do the things that are being written out for them in their own little what's it called? Their own little
narrative. Right.
So their narrative, like, so basically what I'm saying is Christina Dolores is in the future. Bing. Bang, bang. Because Haloris has succeeded in what she was trying to do. But, well, that will make Christina Dolores in the present, because then Jeffrey Wright, bing, Bernard, he is in the future trying to stop the apocalypse. He's at the precipice.
Okay.
So, boom, Maven's at the beginning. Maeve and Caleb are at the beginning. Boom. Christina Dolores is in the middle. Man has evolved. Caleb and Maeve lost. Man has evolved because Haloris, has said, we're going to manipulate and control every move that man makes.
Right. Yeah, that would be a wild way to end the season, or like to have like the penultimate episode, because that's usually how they do it. They have to be the episode before the last, where they'd be like dropping the bomb on you, or maybe like episode 6. It's gonna be crazy, and I think I'm right. And I'm dead. You know what? And you know what's really sad? I just came up with all of that shit right now. And some of y'all are probably like, yeah, it sounds like a motherfucker. Like, well, suck my dick. Okay. Yeah, it's that would be interesting. It does definitely like feel like there's a reason for the disconnect between all the storylines. Because the last season was the only one that first one that felt very streamlined. Every storyline connected with each other pretty uh seamless, or like not seamlessly, but like I mean, yeah, seamlessly, but you knew what was going on. This one has a little bit more of a mystery box of like, why is there all these stories so disconnected? I
Right.
think that
No, it was linear. The whole
right, yeah, it's more linear. Yes,
yeah, it was extremely linear, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like season 4. And yeah, season 3. Excuse me. And there's people who didn't like season 2, but those people didn't continue to watch. And see, people who didn't continue to watch Westworld after season 1, just because they didn't really like the first 2 episodes of season 2, that's because they forgot that they didn't know what was going on in the first 2 episodes of season 1.
I really like season 2.
I really love season 2, but I'm just saying, certain people who got turned off, they just forgot that this show doesn't tell you what's going on. You just think that they're supposed to tell you now because you knew what was going on in the first season. Now we got a whole nother mystery to solve. It's a maze every time.
Yeah,
I'm ready to play this game.
Yeah, I feel like the season 3 might have got some. I mean, I like season 3, but because it was such a deterrent. We weren't in the park anymore. We were just like outside in the real world. I think that might have turned some people off, but now we're not only delving into the complexities of what the technology could do and how that will affect the real world, but also we're dipping our toes back into the park. So
yeah. And speaking of which, Maeve and Caleb find the bottom of the park, and they get in there and they see Caleb's daughter as among the people shooting themselves in the head, being controlled by flies and making themselves shoot themselves in the head. But I don't know if Maeve realizes that she is not a human, or if she realized that all of them weren't actually human
right
at the last second. But she was definitely like, oh shit, that's a robot. Let me get in there. That's a host. Let me get in there. And then we see Ed Harris's character, the Man in Black, comes out of nowhere. Maeve asks him, is he not tired of getting his ass kicked? She does. She has whipped his ass every single time she bumped into him. So, but she shoots him, whips his ass per the usual, and then he pops up on her again, come around the corner. Now, the big question is that a different Ed Harris, or is this a different Man in Black, or is it the same Man in Black? Because there was a bullet wound here, but like I don't know if that's the same Man in Black. It was pretty fast. Like, how do you get around there that quick?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. There could be multiple, I guess, Men in Black hosts. I guess there's no reason why they couldn't have a couple of them. But I think
they know they got to deal with Maeve's crazy ass, right?
Right. I think it was more play for dramatic effects, as if we didn't know that he was going to get back up. I guess.
Oh yeah, because she doesn't know that he's a host.
Right. Yeah, because she doesn't know. Right. So yeah, maybe it was just more for a dramatic effect in that sense.
But yeah, then Caleb gets hit with them flies and he's getting infected, so we know he's gonna be fucked up next episode. So I can't wait for this next episode.
Yeah, the next episode is gonna be crazy. Man, like the implications of like one of our heroes being mind controlled, and is there even gonna be a way to cure him, get those flies out of his orifices? Who knows?
I think Dolores is very much so still infatuated with Caleb as the first Dolores was.
Probably. What makes you say that?
Because she's still that Dolores. She's just more angry because the first one blew her up or let her get blown up.
Right.
So she still harbors the same wants and goals and dreams, essentially. And the other Dolores wanted Caleb to become leader of man, and he did not do that. So
yeah, he went to work on top of a building.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm good over here.
Looking forward to this next episode to see what's up.
Yeah, same here. Well, guys, thank you for listening to the Drunk Banthas podcast. We try to do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, so you can get updates on new videos. Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the internet things at the Drunk Banthas. Until next time, stay safe, my little robot maggots, and may the force be with you.
It's Anastasia.
Is it Anastasia or Anastasia?